Picture this. You're chilling, minding your own business in South Africa, when bam! Out of nowhere, a ginormous spaceship decides to park itself above your city. Like, really? Talk about unexpected guests. So, naturally, humanity is like, whoa, what's up with that? Turns out, it's the first time aliens decided to grace us with their presence. But here's the kicker. They don't even bother to say hello. Nope, they just hang out in their spaceship for 3 whole months, leaving us humans scratching our heads like, are they ever gonna come out or what? After waiting forever, we humans are like, alright, enough of this nonsense, and we decide to take matters into our own hands. We bust into the spaceship, and guess what we find? A bunch of aliens who look like they've been on a serious diet, and not in a good way. Poor things are all sick and hungry, so we're like, hey, you guys want to crash at our place? And just like that, we've got 1 million+ aliens crashing in Johannesburg. But here's where things take a turn for the worse. The government sets them up in this camp, which starts off kinda meh, but quickly spirals into a full-blown slum. We're talking rusty shacks, overcrowding, and enough weapons to make Rambo blush. And to top it all off, there's this Nigerian dude selling them canned cat food like it's gourmet cuisine. Talk about a bizarre menu. Oh, and did I mention the aliens are getting frisky too? Yep, interspecies hanky-panky is totally a thing now. Who knew aliens had game? So, fast forward 20 years, and these aliens have made themselves right at home, in our trash piles. They've even learned to speak English, though they're about as good at leadership as a goldfish in a tank of sharks. And just when you thought things couldn't get any weirder, the locals start treating them like the neighborhood pests. They slap up signs banning them from parks and shops, and come up with this charming nickname, prawns. Classy, right? Meanwhile, the government's like, hey, let's hire this weapons company to deal with the situation. Because, you know, what could possibly go wrong when you put profit over people? So now we've got these aliens living in squalor, humans rioting in the streets, and a corporation making bank off the whole mess. Ah, humanity at its finest. So, turns out these aliens aren't just chilling in their slum. They've got some seriously funky weapons too. But here's the catch. They're all bioengineered, which means us humans might as well be trying to wield a banana as a gun. Enter the MNU, the guys who think they're hot stuff when it comes to dealing with extraterrestrial shenanigans. Their big idea? Let's shuffle these aliens out of District 9 and into a new camp. And who's their fearless leader for this mission? None other than Wikus van der Merwe, the man with a plan. Or so they think. So, Wikus and his merry band of soldiers rock up to District 9 with their eviction notices ready. But when the aliens aren't exactly keen on signing away their homes, things start to get messy. They start blasting away at the non-compliant ones and even torch a house full of alien eggs. Classy move, guys. Meanwhile, our alien pals, Christopher Johnson, his kiddo CJ, and their buddy are on a mission of their own, scavenging for some sweet alien fuel. Christopher's been at it for 2 decades, bless his little green heart, and finally hits the jackpot. But wouldn't you know it, just as things are looking up, Wikus and his goons come knocking. Christopher's buddy tries to smooth things over, but before you can say alien invasion, it's a full-on shootout. Wikus ends up getting sprayed in the face with Christopher's precious liquid, and let's just say it's not exactly Chanel No. 5. Dude starts feeling like he's been hit by a truck, and soon enough, he's puking up a storm. Back at MNU headquarters, things go from bad to worse for poor Wikus. His body starts falling apart faster than a discount toy, with nails popping off and black goo oozing out of every orifice. Meanwhile, Christopher's frantically searching for his missing juice, unaware of the chaos he's unleashed. But wait, there's more. Just when Wikus thinks his day can't get any worse, he comes home to a surprise party. And let's just say, his body's got a surprise of its own in store. A full-blown alien transformation. Cue the screams, the panic, and the awkward phone call to the doctor. Next thing you know, Wikus is strapped to a table while a bunch of lab-coated boffins poke and prod at him like he's the latest attraction at the freak show. Turns out, that alien goo turned him into a walking, talking weapon of mass destruction. And wouldn't you know it, they even make him test it out on some poor innocent prawn. Well, well, well. Looks like our boy Wikus is in quite the pickle. Turns out, his DNA's doing the cha-cha with some alien genes, and he's slowly morphing into a prawn. And what do the big brains in the lab decide to do? Harvest his body parts, of course. Because who needs consent when you've got $ in your eyes? Am I right? But hold the phone. Wikus ain't going down without a fight. He pulls off a Houdini and busts out of that lab like a boss, only to find the MNU goons hot on his heels. So where does a fugitive with a face full of alien DNA go to lay low? Why, the local diner, of course, because nothing says inconspicuous like grabbing a burger while you're on the lam. But wait, it gets better. Our boy Wickus turns on the TV, and what does he see? Newsflash. He's supposedly been getting cozy with a prawn in ways that would make your grandma blush. And to top it off, they're saying he's got a case of the cooties so bad, you better stay 20 feet away if you know what's good for you. These channels are faker than CNN. With the whole world out for his hide, Wickus does what any self-respecting fugitive would do. He heads straight for District 9, because nothing says safe haven like a slum full of aliens and shady characters. So there's Wickus, chilling in Christopher's glorified garden shed, only to stumble upon the galaxy's version of a lost car key, the spaceship's command module. Oh, and guess what? Christopher's been moonlighting as an interstellar mechanic, whipping up some cosmic jet fuel to get them back to Spaceville because, obviously, Earth's charm was wearing thin. Now here's the kicker. This DIY spaceship juice could also turn Wickus back into a full-time human, because who wouldn't want to ditch the alien lifestyle after sampling Earth's delights? With a plan as solid as a chocolate teapot, they decide to crash the MNU's party and snatch back their miracle brew. But first, Wickus needs some firepower for their little adventure. Enter Obasanjo, the gang leader with a culinary twist. He's got this brilliant idea to chop off Wickus's alien arm for dinner, swearing by the old wives' tale that alien limbs are the new superfood to cure all your ills, Muti magic at its finest. Just as the dinner bell's about to ring for Wickus's arm, he goes all-action hero, snagging an alien blaster. Suddenly, it's pew-pew time, and he's playing tag with the gang, grabbing all the guns and making a run for it like he's in a sci-fi supermarket sweep. Talk about a hands-on approach to problem-solving. So Christopher and Wickus decide to go full-on action movie stars and storm the MNU headquarters. Thanks to their arsenal of alien super soakers, they turn the lab into a scene from a sci-fi demolition derby in no time. Then, in walks the Colonel, MNU's very own security superhero, with his squad, probably expecting medals for catching Wickus. Just as Wickus lays his hands on the magical alien juice, Christopher has a mini-drama because he spots his buddy in the lab turned into a human science project. Cue the dramatic music. But wait, the soldiers crash their pity party, spraying bullets like they're giving out free samples. Our dynamic duo decides to redecorate by breaking walls and hightailing it out of there, with the police chopper on their tail like an annoying paparazzi. Back at Christopher's DIY spaceship garage, he drops the bombshell that he's gotta play hero for his alien pals before he can turn Wickus back into 100% Earthling. Wickus, clearly missing his patience pills, decides a log to Christopher's head is a reasonable response and knocks him out cold. Wickus then decides he's a qualified spaceship pilot, lifts off, and gives the world its UFO sighting of the day, until MNU plays party pooper and shoots him down with a missile. Classic. As Wickus gets a not-so-warm hug from the soldiers, Christopher's kid, CJ, pulls a ninja move and stays hidden. But just when you think it's game over, enter Obasanjo and his gang, turning it into a Wild West shootout. Because obviously, the story needed more cowboys. Well. Looks like our boy Wickus just can't catch a break. Just when you thought his day couldn't get any worse, he finds himself in a tug-of-war match with Obasanjo, who's apparently developed a taste for alien limbs. Talk about a weird craving. But fear not, dear viewers, for our hero's not one to go down without a fight. Just as Obasanjo's about to chow down on Wickus's arm like it's chicken drumstick, little CJ swoops in like a tiny Avenger and unleashes the firepower of the century. Now that's what I call family bonding. After Wickus gets away, the big spaceship that hadn't moved for years starts to fly. Wickus finds a big robot suit and begins to use it. He first thinks about escaping with it, but decides to go back and save Christopher instead. They try to run to the spaceship, but the robot suit gets hit and stops working. Wickus tells Christopher to go and save his son and the other aliens. Christopher says he will come back in 3 years to make Wickus human again. Wickus keeps the soldiers busy while Christopher and his son get the big spaceship going. The spaceship goes up into the sky and connects to the other ship. Down below, Wickus, who is hurt, is caught by the Colonel who wants to kill him. But then, the other aliens protect Wickus, surround the Colonel, and take him down. The big spaceship flies away with Christopher and his son, and everyone is watching. People think Christopher will return to help save all the aliens. After all this, no one knows where Wickus is. The mission to move the aliens was a success. Now they live in District 10, far from Johannesburg, and there are 2.5 million of them. The end of the story shows Wikus's wife with a metal flower saying she found it at her door. She thinks Wikus left it, and still hopes he's alive. The movie closes with a scene of Wikus, now completely turned into an alien, making a metal rose for his wife in a junkyard. Love knows no bounds, not even species. Wikus's story is the ultimate "it's complicated" relationship status update.